Lobo, the last Zarnian, the main man, the most badass bounty hunter in the galaxy, versus Juggernaut, one of the most physically powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. I'm the Shinin, and I'm here to analyze their powers and strengths to uncover who would win in a one-on-one fight. Lobo, the self-proclaimed main man, first entered the DC universe as a minor villain in the Omega Men, a team of intergalactic heroes. Initially portrayed as a ruthless bounty hunter, he made his debut by boarding the Omega Men's ship to capture Callista, a royal figure with the codes to a planetary defense shield. Lobo began as a grim and hard-boiled character, but was later reinvented as an over-the-top parody of violent anti-heroes like Marvel's Wolverine and Punisher. In the 1990s, Lobo's personality was cranked to 11, transforming him into a space-biking, hyper-violent, devil-may-care misfit. His backstory revealed that he had wiped out his entire peace-loving race, the Sarnians, with a plague of flying scorpions, just to be unique. Following this act of planetary genocide, Lobo ventured into the cosmos, briefly attempting law enforcement as a police cadet. His tenure was predictably short-lived, ending with him killing his superior officer before stumbling upon a newspaper ad that launched his career as the universe's most infamous bounty hunter. Lobo's exploits only grew more absurd and chaotic. Upon reading his unauthorized biography, he discovered the author was his fourth-grade teacher, Miss Trib, one of the last surviving Zarnians. Ordered to escort her alive to the Legion holding prison, Lobo begrudgingly obeyed, though he harbored a deep desire to kill her himself. Along the way, chaos ensued. Miss Trib's nagging commentary provoked enraged space truckers, leading to brawls. She later managed to escape during a pit stop at a violent opera, only for Lobo to recapture her by cutting off her legs, knowing they'd grow back thanks to their shared regenerative abilities. Lobo epitomizes dark comedy and extreme violence. His universe-spanning tales are laced with profanities, alcohol-fueled mayhem, and absurd conflicts, cementing his status as one of DC's most outrageous anti-heroes. Lobo isn't just powerful, he's a walking apocalypse wrapped in leather and attitude. The raw power of the main man, picture a brawl with Superman, fists collide with earth-shattering force, and there stands Lobo, grinning as if he's enjoying himself. He's strong, unreasonably strong. His punches can send the Man of Steel reeling and have even destroyed entire planets. Yes, planets. He's the kind of guy who lifts things most beings can't even comprehend, though now and then he seems oddly amused by the idea of struggling with something smaller. It's part of his charm, making everyone wonder just how strong he really is. He is an immortal nightmare. Death has no claim on Lobo. He's immune to aging, disease, and pretty much every attempt to kill him. Even the afterlife wants nothing to do with him. Heaven and hell both slam the gates shut on the main man, unwilling to deal with the chaos he'd bring to their realms. He walks the universe untethered, a living embodiment of immortality. He has a body that won't stay down. Let's say, against all odds, you manage to hurt Lobo. Maybe you think you've won. Maybe you think you've done the impossible. Then you notice the blood pooling beneath him starting to move. That's right, every drop of his blood can spawn another Lobo. And even if you somehow bypass this terrifying ability, his body will regenerate faster than you can blink. Rip off an arm and it'll grow back. Obliterate him entirely and he'll just reform. Good as new, and probably even angrier. He has also brains behind the brawn. Don't let the crude jokes and heavy metal persona fool you. Lobo's brain is just as dangerous as his fists. He's a genius of destruction, crafting deadly viruses and weapons with frightening precision. When his planet got on his nerves, he wiped it out with a biological agent of his own design. The entire population of Zarnia. Gone in a week. But what truly sets Lobo apart is his uncanny ability to hunt. They call him the greatest tracker in the galaxy for a reason. If you've crossed him, there's nowhere to hide. Lobo will find you, no matter how far you run or how well you conceal yourself. And when he does, well, you'll wish he hadn't. Two of his strongest feats are when he pulls Solaris, an alien entity as massive as a star, out of the sky, despite having no leverage. Using a small to medium-sized star, like our Sun as a reference, Solaris would weigh nearly 2 octillion tons, over 300,000 times heavier than Earth. Yeah, not exactly a light lift. And how about the time he fought some crazy rabbits, got so mad his face practically melted, and then straight up ate a city, like the whole thing in one gulp. Trillions of tons of steel and rubble compressed into a sphere smaller than the palm of his hand. That sphere would be over 20 times denser than a neutron star. Juggernaut's real name is Cain Marko. He was raised by his father, Cain Marko, after his mother passed away when Cain was very young. Eventually, Kurt met and married Sharon Xavier, the widow of Brian Xavier and mother of Charles Xavier. After their marriage, the family moved into the Xavier Mansion in Westchester, New York, a place that would later become the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. However, Cain's relationship with his new stepbrother, Charles, was fraught from the beginning. Cain was a bully, and much of his behavior was fueled by jealousy. Charles excelled at everything: academics, sports, and even being a star athlete in football and track. Their father, Kurt, clearly favored Charles over Cain. What Cain didn't realize was that Charles's extraordinary success was partly due to his mutant ability to read minds, Cain's included. When Cain eventually discovered that Charles was a mutant, resentment began to fester deeply. The tension reached a breaking point when Cain accidentally started a fire during an argument in Kurt's lab. The fire spiraled out of control, and Kurt tragically died from smoke inhalation, while saving both Cain and Charles. Overwhelmed by guilt and anger, Cain convinced himself that Kurt's sacrifice wasn't for him. It was for Charles. This belief hardened his animosity toward his stepbrother. Years later, both Cain and Charles were drafted into the U.S. Army and served together during the Korean War. On one mission, Cain deserted his unit. Charles, ever the altruist, went after him, hoping to bring him back. While trying to escape, Cain stumbled upon a cave, the lost temple of Cyttorak. Inside, he found the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak. The moment he touched it, an inscription appeared reading, "Whosoever touches this gem shall be granted the power of the crimson bands of Cyttorak. Henceforth, you who read these words shall become forevermore a human juggernaut." In that instant, Cain was mystically transformed into Cyttorak's avatar, a living juggernaut. But the power came at a cost. The unleashed mystical energies caused the cave to collapse. Charles barely escaped the falling rubble, but Cain was buried alive. The Juggernaut, one of the strongest and most powerful physical beings in the Marvel Universe. He stands toe-to-toe with legends like Thor, and even surpasses the Hulk in sheer might. Cain Marko's power? It flows from the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak, a conduit through which Cyttorak channels his boundless, magical energy into his chosen avatar. Much like Jean Grey, who wields only a fraction of the Phoenix Force yet retains incredible power, Cain Marko commands but a portion of Cyttorak's strength. Yet even that fraction is immeasurable. His feats? Juggernaut has knocked out Cyttorak in his own realm, a realm where Cyttorak stands above Galactus and the Celestials themselves. He has felled cosmic entities such as the Stranger, toppling the towering figure, grown to 50 feet tall, with just one punch. And on Earth, he has subdued or outright defeated some of the mightiest heroes and villains: the Thing, Colossus, Hulk, Thor, Venom, Captain Britain, Prime, and more. Strength without limit. The Juggernaut's power surpasses even that of World War Hulk, arguably the strongest incarnation of Hulk. In fact, Cain Marko was designed to be unstoppable. He cannot be defeated by physical force. The limits of his strength remain unknown because it stems directly from Cyttorak's infinite essence. When possessed by the Trion's dark side, and drawing further upon Cyttorak's power, the Juggernaut tore down multiple dimensional barriers with sheer physical might. He crushed them, one by one, in a rampage to destroy the Trion gods. He ripped through the fabric of space and time, merging dimensions as his punches shattered the continuum itself. Raw power. He dug into the Earth's bedrock with ease, enduring unimaginable compressive forces, hundreds of thousands of cubic meters of rock, clay, and stone weighing down on his body. Cain Marko once fractured the North American tectonic plate itself, and with nothing but his bare fists. Hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of billions of metric tons of force. Speed? Despite his enormous size, Juggernaut's leg strength propels him at superhuman speeds. He can run at 600 miles per hour, nearly reaching the speed of sound, and perhaps faster. Invulnerability. Juggernaut is protected by an invisible force field, rendering him immune to all physical attacks regardless of their intensity. Fire, cold, electricity, radiation. Even Thor's God-Force blast or Wolverine's adamantium claws cannot harm him. Reality-warping forces like molecular disintegration? Even those fail to destroy him. Healing. The only way to harm Juggernaut is through mystical or cosmic-level attacks. But even then, the gem regenerates him. Instantly, he has been reduced to a skeleton by despair, elevated to reality-warping power, and yet, within seconds he was whole again. As long as a single molecule of Cain Marko remains, he cannot die. Unstoppable, invincible, eternal. The Juggernaut. All right, let's dive into this. Lobo versus Juggernaut. They're both iconic superpowered characters from different universes, and each brings something unique to the fight. Now, let's analyze their powers and strengths to uncover who would win in a one-on-one fight. First, in strength, Lobo. His strength fluctuates greatly depending on the writer, but has been shown to rival Superman's and occasionally exceed it. Lobo has performed incredible feats like pulling a star from the sky and compressing an entire city into a sphere denser than a neutron star. However, his strength is inconsistent, sometimes barely allowing him to lift cars, while Juggernaut's strength stems directly from Cyttorak and is seemingly limitless. He has overpowered cosmic entities, broken dimensional barriers, and performed feats of raw physical power that rival or surpass the strongest versions of the Hulk. Edge. Juggernaut, due to the consistent nature of his strength, which is directly tied to Cyttorak's infinite power. Second, in durability and invulnerability, Lobo. As an immortal, Lobo cannot die and is immune to aging or disease. He has withstood planet-destroying attacks and shrugged off blows from Superman. However, Lobo's durability isn't absolute. He has been harmed by bullets and magic-based attacks in the past, while Juggernaut's invulnerability is unmatched, as his force field protects him from all physical harm, including reality warping and cosmic-level disintegration. He can only be injured by certain mystical or extra-dimensional forces, and even then, he regenerates instantly. Edge. Juggernaut, as his invulnerability is more comprehensive and consistent than Lobo's. And lastly, in unique abilities, Lobo's regeneration is extraordinarily powerful, allowing him to heal from any injury, even regenerating from a drop of his blood, which can also create clones. His immortality ensures he cannot die, and his ability to possess others adds another layer to his arsenal. However, some of these abilities have been inconsistently depicted. While Juggernaut's force field makes him impervious to most physical attacks, and his ability to smash through dimensions and manipulate space-time adds an element of cosmic-level destruction. His regeneration is near instantaneous, ensuring he can recover from any damage, even molecular disintegration. Edge. Juggernaut, for his combination of invulnerability, force field, and cosmic-level destructive potential. With all this, the winner is Juggernaut.